This is a First Alert Weather Special Report.
Good evening, meteorologist Craig Allen, and we've got wet city streets, I'm happy to say, because it has been snowing for the last 2-3 hours around here, and in some cases, it was coming down at a pretty good pace. But this is what we have right outside our building right now, and you can see even many of the cars are not showing that snow sitting on top of it. I see this right here. Yeah, a little bit on the roof and on the in the back of the car. There's still a little bit in our little tree gardens here, but as for the streets and the sidewalks, we're doing okay. And you know what? The temperature went up a few degree as well. This helps a lot, being up at 33 degrees, just that 1 degree. And the snow is at a lighter intensity right now. It's getting ready to start changing over to sleet. But even more so over to rain for the city. And so our accumulations are going to be minimal from the city on south and east. That is good. Here it is on radar now. And you can see that the deeper blues right now are centered across the Poconos, Catskills, southern tier of New York. You see how it's moving east? It's going right across the mid-Hudson Valley and over towards Connecticut. This is starting to leave the area, but watch how the green is starting to push up. The green is where it's rain. Just plain rain. I see a little, pocket or two of sleet and freezing rain over here in central sections of New Jersey, back from Somerset into Hunterdon County. But also that, too, will start turning over to plain old rain as it gets closer to the coastline. And the wind is south-southeast. So in other words, it's coming in off the ocean, which is above freezing. You don't have that cold north-northeasterly wind that you would need to keep snow in the area. So the way the weather pattern has set up and the storm is setting itself up, this comes around. You've got your rain coming in along the Jersey shoreline at this point, and it'll start spreading north up the Garden State Parkway. We will change over to rain in the city, and that's going to keep snow totals lower. Different story. North and west of 287, north of, again, 287, but it even includes the Sound Shore here as well as the Connecticut coast. It is a winter weather advisory. In pink, this is a winter storm warning. You folks are going to get a lot more snow as well as icing that goes all the way on back into northeast Pennsylvania. So this is a first alert weather day. It continues right on into tonight. Still some snow in the northern and western suburbs, going over to freezing rain, going over to rain. Several inches of snow. We could be talking about 3 inches or more, even on some of the roadways if they're untreated, well north and west in the higher terrain. It does become heavy rain off and on after, let's say, 6, 7, 8 o'clock or so for tonight, where we're at now. And it remains that wintry mix for the northern and western suburbs. Our timeline now through about 8. You've got moderate to heavy snow falling still, as I showed you on radar, especially north and especially east, but it's going to start to change shortly. For the rest of the evening into the nighttime, it goes over to complete rain, all plain rain for the city on south and east. Now, tomorrow, we've got another round of precip that comes in here, and this is rain heavy at times for the city south and east. We could even get to 50 tomorrow afternoon, but ice, severe icing, could linger in some of the far northern and western suburbs. Watch on Futurecast here. See this? This is working out very well. Within the next hour or so, this is rain, and it's taking over. The temperatures are going up. It's starting to take over the sleet, the freezing rain, and the snow, which will still be coming down across Long Island, Connecticut, northern New Jersey, let's say north of 80, but that's all that's all moving north, and you can see how it spreads itself across New Jersey, the central part of New Jersey, south shore of Long Island, already getting into rain. And that's happening now by about 8:30, 9 o'clock or so tonight. This whole area from the city on east, city on south, should be under plain rain. It is still snowing in Connecticut, though, and the Hudson Valley. A little bit of a lull for the Poconos and the Catskills, but it's still raining along the coastline. This is at 11. In 11, 12, 1 o'clock or so, another round comes in tonight. Now, this is where it becomes problematic and troublesome. Maybe dangerous is a better word for it, because this is all freezing rain back here. You can see from, let's say, about 15 in Sparta, Route 15, north and west, you get into these higher elevations, Poconos, Catskills, northern sections of Connecticut along 84 there. It's still freezing rain through 5 a.m. in the morning, where it is plain rain for the coastal section. So this is where it gets really bad. Good reason for winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings. We've got rain for tomorrow afternoon. It's still icy. north of 84, and it comes in with the next round, 11:30 in the morning, 12 o'clock or so. A lot of rain. The ice finally goes away in the afternoon. But this is an interesting color. This map, to me, looks like something I would expect to see in April, with severe weather possibly breaking out, or at the very least, lightning and thunder, with some of these heavier downpours that are going to be covering the tri-state region. So that's why for tomorrow, we have that also as a first alert weather day. I lowered the snowfall totals just a little bit because, as you saw, the city streets and most of the treated surfaces are not going to get any kind of covering at all, but generally a trace to 2, likely in some of the colder surfaces. Nothing more than a trace down to the south. This is where you have your bigger snow numbers, followed by icing on top of that. So now let's go into Sunday with the freezing rain north, heavy rain for the rest of us, significant icing. That's big icing north and west, which could be troublesome on the trees, the power lines or so. I haven't seen a number like this. In other words, 2/3 of an inch of ice on some of the power lines and trees, and then you start picking up some gusty winds. You've got problems here. Poconos, Catskills, northwest New Jersey, on up into the mid-Hudson Valley and the northwest sections of Connecticut. Down here along the coast, we've got temperatures near 50. So it's just so different from, let's say, about 50 to 75 miles from one place to the other. Very dangerous travel for those of you north and west with tree damage, scattered power outages. Have the generators ready for those areas to the north and west, whereas the rest of the region picks up anywhere from 1 to 2 inches of rain, and we have to deal with flooding. So when you put it all together, I've gone through just about every season's worth of weather in just these, 48 hours or 24 to 48 hours coming up. It is a nasty weekend from time to time, and it doesn't end there. When the storm moves away, we get into big, big winds. This is a high wind warning for gusts that will reach 50, 60 miles per hour for most of New Jersey. This high wind watch, my guess, this goes over to yellow. This will be upgraded to a high wind warning as well, at least for some of the coastal areas during tomorrow. And notice the winds here running between 30, 40, 50 miles per hour at times. It drops down a little bit as you get on into the overnight hours. It picks up again, as you can see, some gusts over 40 in Connecticut and the Hudson Valley, gusts to 50 out over eastern Long Island as we get on into Monday morning. So now you're dealing with strong winds, and it's not just the wind. Take the temperatures down, and you've got wind chills that will be in the teens and single digits as we get on into next week. It is going to be a bitter week once again. Remember what it was like about 3-4 weeks ago around here? Really, really bitter. You know what? Temperatures are going to go up a little bit more during the night tonight, around 35 degrees. And, I also just remembered, you can see how the snow has lightened up and turned to rain. Do you want to take a picture? Do we have that shot of the Brooklyn Bridge there? Yes, we do. The visibility has improved, and we do not have any snow falling right now of consequence in and around the East River and around the Brooklyn Bridge. And you know what? Even that down there across the bridge, I'm looking at the traffic there, you're moving. That's good. It keeps you moving. The roads are just wet. Okay, so now let's come on back to our forecast here. And for tomorrow, it'll be about 50 degrees with periods of rain. Ice continues in the far northwest suburbs. I want to mention this before we go because there's so much talk about this and chatter on social media already. This storm for Thursday, a ton of cold air is available. The storm will develop. Every map is showing that, but every map is showing the storm in a different position. Each different position means a different amount of snowfall predicted by that particular model. So there's no way in the world I'm giving you snowfall amounts just yet, other than to say, watch out, because it has the potential to be a big storm because the ingredients are there. It's just a matter of putting them all together. All right, here's your 7-day forecast. And so 50 tomorrow, nasty day coming up. Only 20s and 30s for Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday also just in the 30s with increasing clouds. And then Thursday's the day that we really have to watch. And when that storm goes away, Friday and Saturday will also be generally nice. They'll be cold out there, and temperatures are going to be in the 30s. You know what? You're probably going to have some nice pictures to send us, I would think, especially in the northern and western suburbs. So what you do is you want to share those pictures. We may be able to get them on the air for you. CBSNewYork.com/photos. Scan the QR code. That'll all be great to show on the air. Unfortunately, you got to be very, very careful as we go on into the latter part of tonight and into tomorrow with the possibility of severe icing. Be careful when you're taking those pictures. We'll have you updated at right after golf, hopefully right around 7 o'clock this evening.
This has been a First Alert Weather Special Report.